All right, so firstly, I've got to say, it's really nice, very excited to be back here in Vietnam with our fantastic partners, Cantu Audio, and launching our latest creation, the dCS Varèse system. I can still remember 12 years ago when I was here launching our Vivaldi system, and now we're back here now introducing our newest and the latest flagship Varèse. So with Varèse, it's been in development for 6 years now, and it encapsulates 37 years of our expertise and us pushing the boundaries in terms of digital audio reproduction. And within the Varèse system, this system is developed has the latest, newest generation of hardware, software, a brand new user interface. Basically just giving us a measured performance and a sonical performance at a level that we've never been able to achieve before. So with the Varèse system, it all started off, as I mentioned, the whole project started 6 years ago. As you know, with dCS, we are constantly pushing the boundaries when it comes to, music reproduction. We want to get our customers closer and closer to that real musical performance, closer to that live music, getting more and more involved with it. And the whole project actually started off with us just looking at the DACs. And, with our technical directors in the company, Andy and Chris, who are the left and the right brain of the company. So they're constantly, and the rest of the engineering team as well, so they're constantly looking at the hardware. They're looking at how we can keep pushing those boundaries further and further. So their focus started off with our DAC technology in itself, and how it could be improved further. So we'll start off with, when we started off with Varèse, it started off with a number of goals. And two of the key main goals were, firstly, the user interface, ease of use. How could we get our customers to very easily access their music? And secondly, and most importantly, the sound performance, how we could push the boundaries even further, getting our customers closer to their music. So within the Varèse system, I'll explain to you each one of the components within the Varèse system, then we can go into detail for each one of the components. So as it stands right now, what you see here is the 5 products within the system. So we have the user interface, then we have the Varèse core, then we have the right channel DAC, the left channel DAC, and then we have a Varèse master clock as well. Now there will be an addition of a 6th box within the system, which will be our CD SSD transport, which will be coming along very, very soon. So it's currently in development at the moment. So the biggest technical breakthrough for us has to be, I'll start off by explaining the DACs. This is the first time by dCS we have introduced a dual mono DAC. And that was a huge technical breakthrough for us. And with that came along many challenges. As you can imagine now, that as soon as you have a left channel DAC in a separate chassis and a right channel in another chassis, it's how do you synchronize precisely the timing between the two DACs. If it's a stereo DAC, it's much easier to do. But as soon as you put the left channel in a separate chassis and the right in another chassis, it becomes quite critical. And how do you synchronize the timing? And how can we make sure that when the data arrives, that they are processed at precisely exactly the same time? Our development team looking at that, there was actually no interface or technology actually available to enable you to get that precision between the left and the right channel DACs. So we ended up developing our own technologies, our own interface. Now, one of the things that you would have heard of is our Tomix technology. Again, it's all to do with the timing, right? So we've had to create that and develop that in-house. In addition to that, then we have something that which you mentioned earlier on as well, is our Actus interface. Now, the Actus interface is a combination of hardware and software that enables to bring this whole system together, and it becomes one ecosystem, basically. Now, internally within So when you look at the products internally now, when you're looking at the DAX, so every single aspect of it that you can imagine the electronics that go into Varèse, it's radically different to anything that we've done before. Everything has been redesigned from scratch. Now within the DAX itself, now we have so we've got dual power supplies in the left channel, dual power supplies in the right channel. But each one of those are dedicated, one for digital, one for analog. They're very, very specific. Internally, the biggest change that we've had is to the ring DAC in itself. The ring DAC that you're familiar with, that you've seen in the past. We have our Apex ring DAC, the stereo version, which you've seen. So it has 96 current sources. So we have 48 for the left and 48 for the right. But with the Varèse DAC, in each channel, it uses twice as many current sources now. So you have 96 current sources in the left and 96 current sources in the right channel. Now, it's a balanced design. So if you're looking at those 96 current sources, so what's happening now is that we use half of them, 48 of them are in phase, and other half work in anti-phase, basically. So basically, it's a balanced design all the way through. Now, another advantage we have by doing so is that now that we have a dedicated DAC just for the left channel and dedicated for the right channel, now the draw that it has on the current as well, it's constant at all times. There's no fluctuation whatsoever. That overall, improves the performance of the product. All right, so the next product I'd like to talk about is the core. The Varèse core is actually the main hub in the system now. It works slightly differently to what we've done in the past, like with the Vivaldi or any other products we've designed before. So within the core in itself, this is where all the DSP happens, all the digital signal processing, all the oversampling, the network streaming. So everything happens within the core. So if you compare that to the Vivaldi, with the Vivaldi system, we had the upsampler, we did some DSP, then further DSPs, there was digital signal processing done in the DAC as well. But within the Varèse system, we've taken all the DSP away from the DACs. So everything is now done in the Varèse core itself. Now the core, again, we've taken a different approach this time around. Now if you look at the back of the core, you will find that there's some expansion slots at the back. So this is for upgradability, for upgrading in the future. So just recently we launched a I/O module, which is, it gives you inputs and outputs, basically. So if you want it, at this moment in time, as you can see in the Varèse system, there's no transport. So if any of our customers have a Vivaldi system, it enables them to use the Vivaldi transport, Rossini transport, or any other digital source, and connect that to the Varèse system itself. Because the Varèse system as it stands, without that module, it works in its own ecosystem. Everything is connected via our Actus interface, which I'll go into a bit more detail shortly. So to add anything, bring anything into that ecosystem with standard digital inputs or digital outputs, you need to have this, you can add this module to the back of the core, which slots in and gives you the AES connectivity. It has an RCA, it has USB connectivity, and so on. And there's further slots that are available for the future. Like, for example, one of the things we're looking into or considering is like an HDMI module, like some of the customers have asked for. And we will be developing, depending on what our customers need and what feedback we get from our customers, we will develop further modules in the future as well. So it's fully modular. Now, within the core itself, again, the electronics, again, it's quite unique to us. As you've heard before, we've discussed this, the flex rigid technology. So the core uses flex rigid PCB in there. So it's basically one PCB which just folds around the chassis. And that keeps the integrity of the signal all the way through. So there's no connectors, joining multiple PCBs together. Then the next product in the range is obviously as a dCS system. As you know, we always have a clock. So we have the Varèse master clock in the system. And finally, the user interface. Now for us, this was quite important. Over the 6 years that we've been developing this product, we've been talking to, our partners around the world. We've been liaising with our customers to just get feedback from them to see how do they use their systems, what would make it much easier for them to be able to access the music. Because at the end of the day, what we have here is a tool to enable you to, connect you to your music. But once you hit play, you need to be able to do that easily, quickly, and then the system just disappears, and it's only about the music. So the user interface now is the window into the system. As you can see, there is no more displays, no more buttons. We've taken, gotten rid of all of that. So this becomes your your window into the system, basically. So with the user interface, it has a touchscreen display. You can access the information from there. You can change your settings. You've got your volume control there as well. Shows all the album artwork. In addition to that, this is where your Apple AirPlay, the Google Cast comes in. And then in addition to that, you've got the Bluetooth antenna at the back there. And that enables you to use the remote. So it's a Bluetooth remote that goes with it. Again, very easily accessible. You've got shortcuts on here. You can, fix a particular button to a particular setting, so you can easily access it from this point as well. And then finally, to go along with this, we have also introduced our latest Mosaic Actus app, which is specifically for the Varèse system. Once you use the Actus app, it's just a huge, step forward from anything that we've done before. Again, easy access to your music, whether it's from any of the streaming services, Qobuz, Tidal, Spotify, from a NAS, or from a USB, whatever that might be. You've got easy access from there, basically. And it's very, very responsive. Right, another thing, as I mentioned earlier on, for us, we wanted to make this system really user-friendly for our customers to be able to just connect it easily, be able to select their music very, very quickly and easily, and be able to access it. Now, one of the things that I mentioned earlier was the Actus interface that we've had to develop. Now, as you know, with the Vivaldi, there's about 10 digital cables in there. You've got VNC cables, you've got AES cables. It's very easy to get the connections wrong. With the Varèse system, you cannot go wrong with it. It's very, very simple to connect and set up. Very, very straightforward. So if you look at the back of the Varèse core, you have 8 Actus connectors. So all we have now here is, from each component, you have one Actus cable connecting to the core. So the only one you need to get right is the clocking. So the clock goes into a specific Actus input into the core. With the rest of them, it doesn't matter. You just connect it up, and it recognizes what product is. The core will recognize what's connected to it, and the system just works. So it's very, very simple and very easy to use. Now, in regards to the Actus cable, so this is, as you will see, it's very, very different, as I mentioned. So it's our own interface, which we've had to develop in-house. And the reason for this was that, obviously, we are now transferring data at very, very high speeds. We are controlling the system. It's taking care of the clocking, the timing, and we've had to move away from the AES, just to prevent ourselves to getting into any bandwidth limitations into the future, right? So this one has extremely high bandwidth, so we wouldn't have to worry about connectivity for many, many years to come. Now, again, we've had to develop this in-house by ourselves. Now, what you have, if you look at it internally, you'll see you'll see the pins in there. So there's 6 twisted pairs in there. So 4 of the pairs are to do with transferring the audio and for control of the system. And then you've got 2 twisted pairs, which are for the clocking, for 44 and 48 clocking. Right. Now, again, a lot of work has gone into the development of these cables. Another beauty of these cables is we have actually tested these up to 100 meters. You can use them to any length up to 100 meters with no loss of data. It keeps everything intact. Now, with some of our customers, what they've decided is they would like to have the UI here and then closer to them and the rest of the system further down. Or some customers have decided they want to put the mono DACs because they don't have enough rack space, so they've put the mono DACs in the front of the system and the rest of them on the racks. So you can custom order the cables. And the beauty of this is, for example, if you're looking at the left and the right channel DAC, you could have 1.5 meter going to one DAC and a different length to the right DAC. It makes no difference whatsoever. It keeps the integrity of the system.
Customer upgrade with other brand cable and using bottom lane
So at this moment in time, no, but potentially in the future. Now, right now, this cable is only available at dCS. So, but we are in talks with other manufacturers who have reached out to us. They would like to try it. So if they can deliver a cable that, because at the end of the day, for us, performance is key. It needs to deliver the level of performance that's required. And if it does, then we would then license it out, to that manufacturer, basically. But again, there's no financial benefit to us. All we do is, because these LEMO connectors, which come out of Switzerland, so these are designed, configured specifically for us. So then if another manufacturer wants to make a cable, then we will authorize LEMO to be able to sell connectors to that particular manufacturer and so on. So at this moment in time, no, but possibly in the future, it might happen. In terms of, with the Varèse, everything that you see from the inside out, everything has an impact on the performance of the system. So yes, the electronics internally, they've been redesigned from scratch, the DAC architecture and the clocking, the new interfaces we've developed with Tomix, Actus, but then the industrial design as well. Now, if you look at these chassis, that is actually made out of a solid billet. So as previously with other products you must have seen, you have a top plate, side plates. With this is just one piece. So that stands the same for all of the components in the Varèse system. So that in itself sort of works as a heat sink as well. And in addition to that, it works as a Faraday cage. So no interference in, nothing coming out. So it's pretty consistent. Now, another huge advantage of the system, again, coming back to simplicity of use. With anything that we've done in the past as well, so we are, you had to individually update each component. Like with the Vivaldi, you have to update the upsampler or the DAC, the clock or the transport. With the Varèse system, we've simplified everything. So you could go through the menu, check for updates, and if there's a new software update available for the DAC or maybe for the clock or the UI, whichever component, it will recognize there's a new software update available. You just select it, update system, so the core will download the software. It will recognize what the software is for and will automatically update the DAC or the clock or the UI, whichever product that might be. So the whole process has been really simplified. Again, made it easy for our consumers and our customers to use at the end of the day. We don't want them to be worrying about how am I going to update this one. We want them to just enjoy their music, and that's what it's all about at the end of the day. Now, one of the questions that I've been asked is, which you were asking earlier on today, so where do we go from here? How do our existing customers, our Vivaldi customers, Rossini customers, Bartók customers, Lina customers, how do they benefit from all this new technology that we've developed? But what you don't realize is customers have already benefited from it. As you know, the Apex upgrade that we offered for our Vivaldi customers, Rossini, for Bartók, that actually came out of this project. Obviously, that was done about, 2.5 years ago that we offered Apex. But Varèse has been in development for 6 years. So as part of all the development work that was happening on the DAC section, Apex came out of that. So if you look at the analog output stage, again, huge improvements have been made there. Now, as part of the analog output stage are the same on the Varèse, like what you find on the Apex DAC board. Now you look at products like the Lina. Actually, out of a whole product range, the Lina DAC has more in common with Varèse than any other product. We talk about the chassis design, the industrial design, the single one-piece chassis made out of a solid billet. Again, Lina, that's what Lina is. That came from the Varèse design. We talk about the flex rigid technology internally. The Lina PCB internally, that uses the flex rigid technology. That came from Varèse. So a lot of the, development work that's happened in Varèse has, that technology has passed already, passed on toward the rest of our product ranges already. The only optional extra only option within the system is the clock. So you have to have the user interface, the mono DACs, and the core. And a clock is something that could be added at a later date. Now, obviously, we mentioned the transport, the CD SSD transport. A lot of our customers have been asking about it. So that is coming along. So hopefully, it's still in development. We're getting there. So we actually did show a prototype of it recently at the Munich show. which you saw. So we're targeting for around about September time for it to be launched. So it should be available very, very soon. Now, another thing to mention is, so if you're looking at the system, the design, it's a timeless piece. All of our customers have been saying it looks absolutely gorgeous. It's beautiful. Now, one of the things that, how do you recognize your left channel, the right channel DAC? So if you look at that, can you see the slant to the left? That's the left channel. The slant to the right, that's your right channel DAC. So as discussed earlier on, so in regards to with the mono DAC, so now the ring DAC that we have within the mono DACs, we call it the differential ring DAC.